WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for staying up with us tonight. I'm Quentin Smith. The spread of the coronavirus is forcing many businesses to close, sparking waves of layoffs. Now, thousands are filing for unemployment. But as we've reported recently, many are having a hard time getting that help. The State Department of Employment Security says that's because more people are now looking to file claims. As of last week, more than 30,000 Mississippians have filed for unemployment benefits, and that number continues to increase.
It's unreal how much it's increased just in the last 3 weeks.
Jackie Taylor is the executive director for the Mississippi Department of Employment Security. She says anyone who's lost their job is eligible to file for unemployment. And thanks to a piece of legislation signed by the president, those who've lost their jobs due to this pandemic are able to receive additional benefits to help them stay afloat.
Under the CARES Act signed by the president, individuals may be eligible for additional $600 a week in addition to their regular unemployment benefits.
For anyone looking to file a claim, MDES encourages calling the numbers listed on their website to get started. In recent weeks, people have voiced their frustrations about long wait times and not being able to reach anyone when they call. Taylor says that's due to an unprecedented workload.
We had 250 phone lines coming into the agency. Remember that the economy was good. And so it was a normal workload. And then all of a sudden, there are thousands and thousands of people trying to reach us at one time. We've increased our capacity over 2 times. We're implementing a new call center next week, and every day we're searching and have other things in the mix for how to serve the individuals in Mississippi.
MDES says it's doing its best to answer everyone who's filing a claim. The department is even working 7 days a week now.
It's frustrating for you all in Mississippi, and it's frustrating for us that we can't serve you quickly. We ask for patience, even though patience is thin. We will get to everyone as quickly as possible and know that we are implementing new ways every day to do such things.
And any individual who has not had a chance to talk to someone or file that claim, eventually we will service them in any weeks that they're due that they haven't been paid for, they qualify for, we will pay them those benefits.
When filing a claim, you have to set up a username using an email address and password. If you happen to forget those, you can retrieve that information by calling into the agency or contacting someone at your local WIN Job Center. Drive-through coronavirus testing makes its way to Webster County. On Thursday, the University of Mississippi Medical Center will lead testing operations in Eupora, located on 86 Government Avenue. This service is by appointment only and will take place from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Get this, patients being tested don't even have to exit their car. Once tested, UMMC will notify patients the results. Well, Maben is the latest town in our viewing area to go under a mandatory curfew. Aldermen voted unanimously Tuesday night to order an 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew in town. That order goes into effect immediately. This means anyone out after curfew could be ticketed and fined. A first offense is $250. The second offense goes up to $500. Maben City Hall is also now closed to the public. Utility payments and court fines can be put in the drop box at the front of the building. Anyone needing to do face-to-face business must call City Hall to set up an appointment. The Tupelo Public School District suspends its food delivery and pickup programs after an employee tests positive for COVID-19. In a press release, the school district says the employee worked in the transportation department. You may recall buses were used to take the food to various locations. All the employees who had contact with the worker in the last 14 days have been notified. TPSD is putting the programs on hold for 2 weeks. After that, it will reassess the situation. A Natchez pastor who was threatened to be arrested for defying a state order aimed at limiting social gatherings sits down with Governor Tate Reeves. Courtney Ann Jackson has more on the meeting and the results.
This Natchez bishop held his Palm Sunday service despite Governor Tate Reeves' executive order. But again Wednesday, Reeves reiterating,
"It's not the time to hold in-person services and fill our churches."
After receiving questions about Bishop Stanley Searcy's service, Tate Reeves invited him to Wednesday's briefing. Bishop Searcy says locally he received significant pushback.
Some of my local officials called me and said, if you had service, we're going to lock you up. Well, then that's when I kind of planted my feet. You know, I felt like my constitutional rights was being violated.
Governor Reeves doesn't think pastors should be arrested for holding services, but he says he can do this.
I can ask him as a fellow Christian to take this extra step to protect the community.
I'm here to do whatever you ask me to do, and I'll be willing to cancel my service on Easter Sunday to give you that time over to the 20th, that we can get our peak and our curve, and we can plateau this thing, because we don't want to see any more Mississippians die.
Reeves has this message for other pastors during this Holy Week.
We believe that churches are essential operations in our state. But we also believe that we need to make wise choices and wise decisions, and we don't need to be gathering in groups of more than 10 people just because of the seriousness of this particular virus and how contagious it can be.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
CBS affiliate WJTV will be hosting a coronavirus town hall with Governor Tate Reeves and State Health Officer Dr. Thomas Dobbs. You can watch the event right here on WCBI tomorrow night from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Governor Reeves and Dr. Dobbs will be answering questions from residents. So to find out how you can submit a question, just visit our website at WCBI.com.
Otherwise, this evening, all quiet here in North Mississippi. However, we are watching storms here in West Tennessee right now. Some gusty storms near Jackson, also a severe warning storm near the Memphis area. We'll go up to Memphis right now, out by the Wolf Chase Galleria shopping mall there along I-40. Rain's coming on down, thunder and lightning, and some heavy activity at this point. Now, the track on these east-southeast is about 30 to 40 miles per hour. That could take it towards Boonville by 1240. Don't get married to those times right now. This is still a broken line. However, it could fill in a little bit later on tonight as that continues to sink down into North Mississippi and northwestern Alabama. Wind and hail, the primary threats here. Not everyone is guaranteed a storm here. We'll have your full forecast coming up.
Well, as of today, it looks like Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders ended his presidential campaign today. The one-time frontrunner told his supporters he couldn't win and he didn't want his campaign to interfere with the nation's fight against the coronavirus. CBS's Ed O'Keefe has the latest from Washington.
Senator Bernie Sanders admitted today that his path to victory is virtually impossible.
If I believed we had a feasible path to the nomination, I would certainly continue the campaign, but it's just not there.
Sanders trails Joe Biden by more than 300 delegates, but he said he's keeping his name on the ballot in states that have yet to hold primaries, hoping to force Democrats to adopt some of his more liberal views. That could complicate things for Biden, who today thanked Sanders and appealed directly to the senator's supporters. "I hope you will join us," Biden said. "You are more than welcome. You're needed." Sanders had seemed unstoppable, easily winning early contests.
We won the New Hampshire primary. We won the Nevada caucus.
But just before Super Tuesday, several candidates dropped out and endorsed Biden, catching Sanders off guard. Biden has never looked back as the pandemic's freeze on the campaign stopped any chances of a Bernie rebound. Recent polls give Biden a slight edge over President Trump nationwide and in key swing states. Just minutes after Sanders' announcement, the Trump campaign released this ad.
They're more alike than you think.
Trying to tie Biden more closely to Sanders. CBS News has learned that the Biden and Sanders campaigns have actually been in touch for weeks, trying to sort out what from the senator's policy proposals the former vice president could potentially adopt as a way to further unite the party. One Biden aide tells us we can expect to learn more about that in the near future. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, Washington.
The Columbus Municipal School District votes to discontinue its contract with the Golden Triangle Early College High School. Our Cash Matlock has reaction from a school board member and some parents who say they're stunned by this decision.
When she found out, she cried. My husband had to console her because she was so upset.
Denise Mize says her daughter was gearing up for her senior year in the GTech program. She planned to graduate with a high school diploma and an associate's degree. But now all of that has been taken from her. Almost 4 years of hard work gone.
It made me really angry because my daughter has invested so much time in GTech. Because we chose GTech, she cannot do extracurricular activities. So if she was to have to go back to Columbus High, she would miss out on that band scholarship that would help her with her college.
Another parent, Shane Tompkins, has a son enrolled in the GTech program.
We've invested into it, and it's a 4-year program, and our son's a freshman, so we'd like to complete it because it has a lot of the aspects of I guess, education that we were excited about for our child.
Jason Spears is the board president for the Columbus Municipal School District. He says the decision to end the program was a tough one.
We have to look at everything from state law, we have to look at everything from the fiduciary responsibility of the finances, and we have to make a decision that for the community as a whole is going to have the greatest impact long term.
One major deciding factor came to the board members' attention just this year.
It was at risk for all the different public schools that are here in this area, that are the feeder schools that go into the particular program. And those at-risk students, go through a selection process. Well, over the last year and going into this next MOA session, it has been broadened greatly.
Spears says there are public school programs now that could potentially fill the gap the GTech program leaves behind. Parents say that isn't good enough.
Yes, you can do the student enrollment. Yes, you can go online and do it, but it's not the same. They're getting the best of both worlds.
And some parents aren't taking no for an answer.
I will move. I will do whatever I have to make sure my child attends GTech.
We can't operate a district on, the fear of repercussions. We have to operate the district on facts and laws and what is the beneficial to all parties involved.
That was our Cash Matlock reporting there. The contract for Columbus Municipal Schools and the Golden Triangle Early College High School program will expire on June 30th. Administrators at EMCC have not yet commented. Well, it is now time to send things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. And Keith, we've got a little bit of both rain and sunshine today, huh?
Yes, and we have a few more storms possible tonight, but we'll enjoy a nice day tomorrow, Quentin, here. Still quite mild here on our Wednesday evening. And look at these temperatures, upper 60s to around 70. Now, after midnight, still a chance for a few strong storms out there. Not everyone is guaranteed it. Temperatures will fall into the 60s in many spots tonight. Tomorrow, more sun, but more active weather possible by Easter. We'll talk about that system after the break.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
A warm spring day today, upper 70s, low 80s, rain and storms around. This is our time lapse from Tupelo earlier today. And by this evening, wow, we really enjoyed a great evening. Mississippi, West Alabama, after the storms got out of here, we're watching a new batch of storms developing to our north. Right now, nothing active across our viewing area. Let's go up to the north, though, and explore what's happening here near Memphis. That storm just east of Memphis has dropped below severe weather limits, but we're continuing to watch it. Some lightning, some downpours up there. A stronger cell near Jackson and some additional storm cells up there to the north of Memphis. And all of this is moving east-southeast right now. There's still a tornado watch in effect until 2 a.m. for all of West Tennessee. No watches yet for our area. A newly issued severe thunderstorm watch, all of this pink right here, including northern Alabama. It will eventually pop up. You saw it there, but it's there. Again, no watches yet for our area. Could we get one? It's possible here, but we expect this line of storms to continue to gradually move to the south and maybe pose a wind and hail threat after midnight here. This is just one solution. Our Futurecast forecast model, we will start the clock at midnight, and notice how these storms will be approaching the Tennessee-Mississippi border and then moving east-southeast here. And the tail end of it on this particular version doesn't really show a lot around here. Can't rule out some isolated strong storms later on tonight, especially as this cold front moves on through the area. And you can see a cell trying to perk on up by 4 o'clock with this particular model. So having said all that, there's a chance for some gusty storms here during the overnight hours. All of this will be done by 7 o'clock. So this is not guaranteed, but it's possible as we go throughout the overnight. Here's our first alert forecast for tonight. Wrigley, can you see Wrigley right there just tanning, getting ready for a nice summer day? Tomorrow, well, we may enjoy a nice day tomorrow in many spots relative to Our stormy weather, upper 60s to lower 70s here once the clouds go away. Now, as we get into your Easter weekend, Sunday, Easter Sunday, a chance for severe weather. All modes of severe weather possible at this time as this area of low pressure and storm system moves on through the region. Also, heavy rain is a possibility here Saturday night into Sunday. So download that WCBI News app and just have it on your phone. Again, we are tracking those storms to our northwest right now. We'll see what happens as we go throughout the course of the night. 70s tomorrow, 60s. That's it on Friday, lows in the 40s. Most of Saturday's looking good. There's that stormy Easter Sunday. As we get into next week, some 70s initially, then more 60s, and we may see some lows in the upper 30s by the middle of next week.
Well, it's no secret organ donors can save lives. We learn more about the process when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. April is National Donate Life Month, and as we learn in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist, it's never too late to give the gift of life.
Hi, I'm Shelley Kidder, a nurse in the Education Department at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle and a first responder for Mid-South Organ Transplant Foundation. Tonight, we will discuss some other myths of organ and tissue donation. Many people think that they are too old to be an organ or tissue donor. In fact, there is no defined cutoff age for donating organs. The decision is based on strict medical criteria, not age. Let the doctors decide at the time of your death whether your organs and tissues are suitable for transplant. Despite what people may think, the rich and the famous do not receive priority when it comes to allocating organs. It may seem that way due to the extra publicity they receive, but they are treated no differently than anyone else. And despite what you may hear, the organ donor's family is never charged for donation. The family is charged for the cost of all final efforts to save your life, and those costs are sometimes misinterpreted as costs related to organ donation. Costs for organ removal go to the transplant recipient. It is especially important to consider becoming an organ donor if you belong to an ethnic minority. African Americans, Asians, Pacific Islanders, Native Americans, and Hispanics are more likely than Caucasians to have certain chronic conditions that affect the kidneys, heart, lung, pancreas, and liver. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist as we will discuss how the transplant process works.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
The Diamond Dogs season was cut short, and now it's become a waiting game to see what their baseball future will be. More from head coach Chris Lamonis next in sports.
Here's sports with Tom Ebel.
As the sports world continues to wait for when normalcy returns, Mississippi State baseball head coach Chris Lamonis says the future roster of the Diamond Dogs will depend on what happens to the Major League Baseball draft. Due to the pushbacks caused by the coronavirus, the draft could change from 40 rounds to just 5, depending on the delays. Lamonis says players like Jordan Westberg and Justin Foscue have a good chance to go pro regardless of what the decision is, but nothing is certain for other pro-eligible players. Lamonis says the uncertainty makes roster building the hardest it's ever been.
The hardest thing for me right now is they keep saying they're going to back the draft up and back the draft up. I mean, it's going to be a situation where we may not know our team in late July. That's the really hard part if this draft keeps getting pushed back. And, you know, we're trying to make the best decisions, you know, with our team and just trying to figure out, you know, all the different, you know, possibilities that are going to happen during that time. But the Major League Draft is going to have a huge effect on our team.
The MLB and Major League Baseball Players Association agreed on a resolution that would have the draft as early as June 10th, its original date, or as late as July 20th. The signing deadline will be no later than August 1st. In need of some good news, former Mississippi State head football coach Joe Moorhead buying lunch for the Starkville Police Department. Starkville PD thanking Moorhead on Twitter. Moorhead responding saying, quote, "My family and I are very appreciative of everything you have done and continue to do for the community." And some more good news. Seattle Seahawk and Oxford native DK Metcalf giving back to his hometown. Metcalf donating $25,000 to purchase meals for those in need in Oxford. The former Ole Miss Rebel also donating $25,000 to Swedish Hospital in Seattle, Washington. That's it for sports. We'll be back right after the break.
All right, we're watching this batch of storms east of Memphis that is gusty, producing some heavy downpours. No watches in effect yet for North Mississippi, but some of that could slip on in here after midnight into our coverage area. So we will continue to watch it here. Your 7-day forecast, Quentin, shows an active Easter Sunday.
We was having some good weather this week until Mother Nature decided to rain
all off
on
the
our
rails
parade.
now.
Literally.
Yep.
Have a good night, everyone.